Well, there was a lot of news this morning, and none of it was good. But it was all Nintendo, and somehow, some crazy way, I still love those guys. So we're going to go through it and try to pull our best Jennifer Lawrence, Bradley Cooper impression and find a silver lining. What's going on, everybody? It's GhostRobo. This morning, Nintendo broke my heart. They came at us with a whole bunch of news. The biggest bit being that the NX, their new console, isn't coming until 2017. I and a whole lot of other people were super sure this thing was launching this year, and I am not quite sure why it isn't. There's a lot of thought that maybe something went wrong in development or R&D or game design or production, that something has greatly altered their plans, because frankly, a lot of the decisions that were announced today were and are still incredibly confusing, illogical, and just face-meltingly weird. First off, the NX is coming in 2017, so March 2017 is when it will launch, and they also announced that Zelda will be an NX/Wii U cross-platform title. That I predicted long ago. I knew that was coming, but the weird part is that the NX isn't coming this year. No exact date for the console or for Zelda, but we assume that Zelda will launch alongside that system. Things just get crazier from there. No NX news or games at E3. That's super, super weird. Maybe they'll mention it. I'm sure they will in some capacity, but they're not going to be revealing anything, which is insanely strange given that E3 is June 14th and March is only 9 months from that. How are you going to launch your brand new platform that you're committing all your resources to? Because the Wii U is basically dead. On this earnings call, they expect 800,000 sales for that this year and the coming year, which is basically none. None for a system that already didn't sell a whole lot. So nothing NX at E3, which is weird. And then the most mind-blowing part is that they're only going to have one playable game at E3, and it's Zelda on Wii U. So this game is coming on NX. It's been delayed because they needed more time to polish what has to be Nintendo's biggest endeavor ever. This game has been in development for ages with tons of people, top teams, an infinite supply of dollars, and now seemingly infinite time, and it better be like the best game Nintendo has ever made. Not only for fans' sake, after all of this waiting, but for the company's sake, for all that they've invested. So that'll be the only thing playable at E3, which is just, it makes no sense. And it's not that that's the only Wii U game playable. I've seen a lot of people suggest, oh, they'll have the new Pokemon Sun and Moon, oh, they'll have Dragon Quest, no, it's the only game. I cannot see, look, I've been to E3 4 years in a row. I know how big that Nintendo floor space is. They've got a giant space on the floor. It's bigger than my house. Way bigger. They also have a PR area that is very large and an upstairs area for press to come and play the games in peace. You're telling me that entire space is going to be filled with like 75 Legend of Zelda demo stations? Is this demo 2 hours long? Is it the best demo ever? Does it require a VR headset that Nintendo has not announced? What is going on? Are they shrinking their space down to a minute size? If Nintendo ever plans to be big and bold at E3 again, which seems, not very plausible given the past few years, but if they ever plan to, they can't sacrifice that space. They will lose it. So that means they're having a gigantic space with just one game? Okay, so it gets even weirder the more you think about this. Nintendo has virtually nothing announced for the next 6 months. You're telling me that they're going to go into fall 2016, the holiday season, where every company on the planet wants to make money, with literally nothing. No new system, no oomph behind Wii U, no Zelda. The only game they have announced right now is Paper Mario, and that looked like a watered-down version of its old self anyways. No date. It's not going to be playable at E3. I cannot get the logic behind having a lineup of games and not letting people play it. But I also cannot get the logic behind not having any lineup of games. This company cannot go dormant for 6 to 9 months. What are they going to do between June 14th and March 2017? Literally, I look at a lineup for Wii U, and they've got Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games coming in June. They have The Legend of Zelda, They have Paper Mario, and they have Project Giant, which we don't even know if that's a real thing at this point. Maybe it got canceled as just a tech demo, little diversion. The 3DS has a lot of third-party things, but the only first-party game would be Pokemon Sun and Moon, presumably releasing in November of 2016. But why are they not letting press play that? That would be a huge attention grab at E3. And maybe this speaks more to the fact that E3 is just dissolving as a Christmas of gaming. They don't feel the need to really show off and put out at E3 because it's not really what it used to be, which is depressingly sad. The greatest week in gaming, EA is pulled out, Activision's pulled out, Nintendo seems to be doing something. They already did their own thing the past few years with directs instead of press conferences, but this is on a whole nother level of strange. I have to imagine that they do something. There is no way they can have Paper Mario come out between now and NX. There's just no way. This company needs to make money. They need to sell. They're clearly, sending the Wii U out to, putting it out to pasture. People are not going to be interested in buying a new Wii U. And what is this about not letting press play the games? They have some. They have to. Even if we say they've got nothing besides Paper Mario and Pokemon, why wouldn't you let people play those? Bring in the third parties. Let people play Fire Emblem Cross SMT. Let people play the Dragon Quest games. Let people play Metroid Prime Federation Force. That's coming out in August on 3DS. Where the heck are people going to demo, try out, preview, review these games? It leads me to believe one of two theories. The silver lining here is twofold. Perhaps Nintendo is planning an epic event that focuses solely on their games and their upcoming console. EA dropped out of E3, but they're doing their own mega event in Los Angeles and London the same time. Activision doesn't seem to really show a whole lot at E3 anyways, and feels like Destiny and Call of Duty can carry their own way, which is probably very true. But Nintendo is saying we're playing one game at the show, and that's all. There's no backup plan. They said in their statements that they would be revealing more of their full E3 plans in the future, which leads me to believe there is more to this. And I hope that, again, one of two things happens. Either A, this is the more unlikely option, it's all a ruse. There's a bait and switch here. They're going to surprise us. Some huge reveal at E3 that we didn't see coming. They're, trying to simmer down expectations only to erupt at E3 by saying something like, hey, we've worked so hard on NX, it's ready to show. But that seems very unlikely given Nintendo's history. I'm beginning to feel cynical and believe that they just really make really odd / bad / confusing / nauseating decisions. The second plausible option is that there is this big event, right? And it's going to be either around the E3 time or after E3, and we'll get to play NX, we'll get to see what the system is, we'll get to see the gimmick, if there is one, we'll get to see a whole lot of the launch lineup, we'll get to play Paper Mario and Pokemon and Metroid Prime and whatever else is coming out this fall, because again, I cannot foresee a major company who just announced that their profits slipped 60% going into the major selling consumer season with nothing. They're going to say, all we've got is Paper Mario, which, by the way, you haven't played at E3 because no one could play it, and Pokemon, which, by the way, you didn't play at E3 because no one could play it. So one of these two things has to happen. Either A, a gigantic bait-and-switch, twisted April Fool's Day trick, and everything is at E3, or B, they've got their own mega event, and they just want to do things their own way. And they're going to invite press and people and show everything there. I lean more towards B, and I hope it happens sooner to E3 than later, because I get the fact that they are not really interested in Wii U development, but they have a bunch of studios, and they basically haven't released anything for a long time. Mario Maker and Splatoon were great games, don't get me wrong, but the Mario 3D Mario, that series has been dormant for a while. Mario Kart, even at this point, is way in the past. Animal Crossing, they announced a mobile version. Even that is weird. They announced Fire Emblem and Animal Crossing for mobile. We know Pokemon Go is coming for mobile, and those won't even be playable at E3. What is going on? There has to be a separate show. There has to be. This is the silver lining. And the other silver lining, if I want to put Bradley Cooper right next to Jennifer Lawrence, is that the NX lineup just may be killer. They know they need to just knock this one out of the park. The Wii U launch lineup sucked. The Wii launch lineup wasn't that great either. It didn't work so well to have, Zelda on both. Wii Sports did wonders for that console as a fad, as a trend, as a Good Morning America gimmick, but not from a hardcore gaming standpoint, and Wii U was far more miserable. Zombie U was fantastic. I love that game. Nintendo Land has some great diversions, but New Super Mario Bros. U, Nintendo Land, Zombie U, a poor man's version of Call of Duty, and whatever others they had really just isn't enough. And in a time frame where PlayStation will inevitably be launching their brand new iteration of PS4, Microsoft rumored to also be showing up with some new hardware, NX needs to kill it, or this company is in serious danger, at least from a hardware manufacturing standpoint. The Wii U is basically a failure, and my good friend Volatile Gabe pointed out something quite interesting. If you look at their last 5 or 6 consoles, N64, GameCube, Wii U, none of them were really that successful. The Wii was as an anomaly, as sort of this like soccer mom, family-friendly box of fun. But from a gaming standpoint, none of those really did all that well. And if the NX flops, I think that's the dagger that really, really changes Nintendo forever. So I'm going to be the optimist here and say that the delay, or the theoretical delay, given the fact that missing 2016 seems madness at this point, slipping into March 2017 allows them to really shore up the launch lineup. And when interviewed, that was the given reason for it skipping the holiday season. Now, I don't believe that's the full reason. It seems surely like something went wrong along the way. But maybe the lineup is great. Maybe it really will have Mario, Zelda, Luigi's Mansion, up-res versions of Smash, Splatoon, Mario Maker, coming at you with good third-party titles that are launching in March, like Mass Effect Andromeda, whatever else gets announced at E3. Maybe they really are trying to do this right. And if it takes till March to do it right, then by golly, do it right. I would much rather have the NX set themselves up for years of bountiful success than launch early and start this Wii U cycle all over again. They cannot afford it, and frankly, neither can I. I don't want to see Nintendo stumble for another 4, 5, 6 years. It's too painful to really bear. And I know that's hyperbole, but really it sucks. It sucks to see your favorite company, probably of all time, just tanking. If not monetarily, at least in mindshare. And so if pushing to March 2017 means that it works, then okay. It bums me out. I was 100% sure this thing would be coming this year based on everything I've heard, all the rumors I've read, all the little bits and morsels I picked up along the way. But alas, it's not. And maybe it's for the better. Maybe they can really deliver a home run of a home console. At the same time, this also makes me think maybe it's not even a console. What if it is VR? They said something about they want to deliver an immersive Zelda experience. That's why it's the only game. What if it's not? But at the same time, then they said it's the Wii U version, which is so asinine. If you're announcing this game for NX and Wii U, why are you showing it on Wii U when inevitably the NX version has to be close to completion because it's launching alongside the Wii U version, which you are going to show because they're both coming out in March around the NX. Even though it's a cross-platform title, you're going to show the earlier, worse version, even though the newer, better version. What is good? Like, what? I literally thought I woke up in an alternate reality this morning. It's so mind-bogglingly goofy and crazy and only can be accomplished by Nintendo. So here's where I stand, and hopefully I'll hear where you guys stand in the comments below. But here's where I stand. Nintendo does this. Haha, nothing going on. Boom, a big event in August. They come at us with their own event, whether it's in Los Angeles, Japan, London, freaking Detroit, Michigan. I don't care. But they unveil a bunch of stuff. Do you guys remember the Cube Clubs back in the GameCube era? I went to a Cube Club. I went to one in Michigan, actually. And it was fun. Maybe they do something weird like that. Hey, instead of the NX E3, we're going power to the people, power to the players, and we're putting that NX in a whole bunch of grocery stores nationwide. I don't know. But event in August reveals the NX, a bunch of games. They also have their Wii U and 3DS lineups for people to play. They come at us with a few choice Wii U and 3DS games that will at least keep them breathing for the fall, and then NX just crushes it in March. Now, I know that monetarily and financially they are fine, but I mean from a mind share and an exposure and just like a pride standpoint, you can't go dormant for 6 months. Companies of this size and stature don't do that. And if they're only going to release Paper Mario between now and March, what the heck? I mean, Metroid Prime Federation Force, okay, but that was playable at E3 last year. Mario and Sonic at the Rio Olympics Games does not count. I know that's a game coming out in June, but it doesn't count. They inevitably will have third-party stuff like Lego Star Wars, Force Awakens, and Skylanders, and blah, 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 blah. But really, from Nintendo, what the heck are they doing? I can only imagine that they're working on the best game of all time in Zelda, and they're working on the best launch lineup of all time for the NX, and that's what I've got to hope for, and that's what I've got to cross my fingers for. And it's convenient that right after I make my prediction that NX will steal the E3 show, Nintendo comes out hours later and says it's not even going to be there. So maybe Theory A will happen, and it's just a whole bait and switch. Haha, April's Fool's Day. We forgot it wasn't April. But more likely than not, they've got a separate event. They have to. If they do, as they say right now, with nothing else, they have 75 Zelda demo stations playable. It better be like an hour demo, by the way, because otherwise it's going to be empty by the third day. Everyone will have played it. They have so much space and so many demos. It makes no sense. Anyhow, if they only have Zelda playable E3, and they only have Paper Mario between now and next March, it will be literally the goofiest event ever, and I can't wait to vlog it. So, look, we win either way. Either they have a great surprise in store, they've got a separate gargantuan event, or they are making the goofiest choice we have seen ever in the gaming industry. Either way, it'll be interesting. Guys and girls, thanks so much for watching. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed the video. Drink some hot chocolate and drink a lot of it, because it is going to be a weird, weird summer. Till next time, thanks again. We'll see you all later.